Friend, the newest VC-infused AI-powered wearable has been announced. There's kind of right off the bat a lot to critique, a lot to dunk on with this one. I'm going to try to minimize, but I got to get a few thoughts out of my system first, and then I want to kind of zoom out into a broader discussion of AI wearables and how this device fits into the broader context and some of the trends that we're seeing. But friend, from the CEO saying that the product is inspired by his own loneliness to the irony that by simply wearing the device, you're signaling to everyone around you that you are struggling to make friends or maybe don't have many, to the spending of $1.8 million on friend.com, the domain, which I think was a little over 50% of the money that's been raised for the entire company. Um, a lot to critique, a lot to dunk on, unfortunately. I'm interested in what Friend tells us about the trajectory of AI wearables. I'm interested in where that market is going, what some sort of patterns are emerging in the experiments that we're seeing hit the market. I like to think about a lot of these AI products that are coming out as this sort of Cambrian explosion. And if you think about it in terms of kind of an evolutionary standpoint or an adaption standpoint, essentially there's all of these different tests that are being launched. Each test is a largely funded company, but it may or may not survive in the market. And with each failure, the next startup learns a little bit, keeps what works, hopefully, and ditches what didn't, hopefully. And we're starting to see some patterns emerge. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. That's particularly what I'm interested in. And so, what's different about Friend from some of these other AI wearables is it's in the name. They're really trying to frame it and market it as a social companion, someone who can be with you and keep you company throughout the day. That's a little bit of a departure from some of the other tools we've seen recently. Now, it's not to say that AI companions are not out on the market. Here's an example of one right here, Replica. The difference is that Replica is not a wearable. It's not a piece of hardware, at least not today. It's a chatbot, but it's framed as an AI companion, right? Character AI is another example. It's kind of similar to Replica. It's not hardware, it's software. It's a chatbot that's framed in many cases as a companion that you can interact with and get to know and that can keep you company. So, Friend is kind of this merging of some other AI wearables with Replica and Character into this kind of wearable companion that is, in terms of form factor, a pendant you wear around your neck. Let's do a quick run through of some of the other AI wearables that have hit the market. So first we got Rabbit. We talked about that one briefly. It's not a wearable as much as it is something that goes into your pocket. It's intended to replace your phone. That's an interesting detail that's different than Friend, right? And it's also a detail that I'm seeing some of these more recent wearables depart from because Rabbit is essentially, it's not going to work out, right? I think the learning there is that trying to replace the phone is maybe not a winning strategy. It says Pocket Companion on the website, but I watched a lot of demos of this product and I think of it a little bit more as a utility, as a tool. In terms of price point, it's sitting at 199 bucks, no subscription, a little bit more expensive than Friend. Sadly, the best way to summarize Rabbit is it's a little bit like your phone, but worse. Like it kind of does everything your phone does. You can send messages, you can take photos, you can make recordings, and so on and so forth. You can play little games. It's just worse. So, anyways. Next is Humane. This is kind of like the luxury line of AI wearables, anywhere from $700 to $800. And like Rabbit, it's also trying to replace your phone. Like it's trying to do everything. It doesn't have a screen. Instead, it projects onto your hand, which is a really interesting idea if it worked effectively in a variety of contexts and environments, but it doesn't. This is the company that announced they are actively looking for a buyer. So after their launch, it didn't really go so well. Their product's super expensive. I just don't think they're shipping very many. Plot is definitely worth highlighting. It's this kind of a credit card shaped device that you can carry around with you, speak into. It's sort of a note taker, a GPT powered AI voice recorder, is what they say. And the idea is it sort of records passively as you have it on, and then it provides a transcription in an app. So it's not trying to replace your phone, right? It also seems to be selling decently. Like I'm pretty active on TikTok. There's a lot of creators promoting this product on TikTok, and people seem to like it. It costs 160 bucks, so it's still kind of hovering around the range of Rabbit. It's definitely a utility. It's not a companion, right? They're not marketing this thing as a companion or some sort of social connection or relationship that you're forming with the device. Like even the branding and the marketing is very businessy, right? And it kind of looks like a credit card. Slip it in your coat pocket and let it listen to your meetings, so you don't have to take meeting minutes. It's super utility. It's not a social piece of hardware. This is Limitless by a company called Rewind. I haven't heard very many people talk about this one. I don't know if they're not marketing it very much, but they also have a pendant. It almost looks exactly the same as Friend. Like it's kind of funny the convergence of the form factors here. So it says the world's most wearable AI. Their price point is $99, which is exactly the same as Friend. It's going to come out and hit the market a little bit sooner, probably. I think Friend is expected to hit the market sometime in 2025. So they're saying end of 2024. In terms of use case and how they're marketing this thing, it's kind of similar to Plod, that note taking app. So even here, like the idea is you wear this pendant and it's sort of passively recording kind of in the background on your behalf. And then it's transcribing everything for you in a product that they have available on your laptop or your mobile device. So it's not trying to replace your phone. It's not trying to replace your screens. It doesn't have a screen, so it uses your phone screen. It's just recording for you using AI transcription and then organizing your notes in a kind of nice and neat manner. It's super, super similar to Plod here. I think these types of products are kind of cool. It to me it feels like the right incremental step forward in terms of introducing LLM powered wearables into the market. Focus on them being a utility, do something very specific very well, like taking notes on your behalf. That's something that could be valuable in a variety of contexts. And I don't necessarily want to be taking notes all the time, especially at work. So if they do it well, it's actually something I've considered buying, but I don't yet own one. And now back to Friend. You can see how similar it is, in fact, to Pendant by Rewind. Very much a pendant form factor, right? You wear it around your neck. It's the same price, $99. It's probably going to come out sometime 2025, early 2025. But the use case is different, right? They have three verbs here to kind of guide us in terms of how to use it: talk, pause, read. So it's very much about this feedback loop, this interaction feedback loop with your AI friend. The tech is super similar to Limitless's pendant, but the use case couldn't be more different, right? It's about keeping you company. It's about making you feel better when you're lonely. It's about providing a friend throughout the day. Okay, so what does this all mean? What are the patterns we're seeing? What are the patterns that are emerging in these experiments? I think there's a couple things right off the bat. First off, trying to replace the phone is not a winning strategy. Humane tried to do it, Rabbit tried to do it, they both failed. Don't try to replace the phone, try to supplement the phone, build on top of the phone. Much safer. Another lesson I think we can take away from Rabbit and Humane is probably don't try to do everything. Again, that's related to trying to replace the phone. The phone does so many things, but Rabbit tries to be everything. It's a camera, it's a game, it's something you can send messages with, you can take notes with it. Same with Humane, it's actually even more advanced than Rabbit. You can kind of do anything with it. The tech's just not there yet. We haven't figured it out. The phone already exists. Just use the phone. Don't try to be everything. Contrast that with Plod and the Pendant by Limitless. I think those are much more likely to be successful. Plod seems to be successful already. I don't have any revenue figures, but I'm going to keep an eye open for that. They do something very specific and they seem to do it pretty darn well. They don't try to replace the phone. They basically just take notes for you. That's all they do. It's actually pretty simple. But what's different is that it's a wearable, right? So you pop it on your body, on your person somehow, or in your pocket. It listens passively and transcribes. That's all it's doing. You do something specific and do it well. That's a great use of AI that's simple. Third takeaway that I'm seeing: pendants are kind of starting to become more common. The standout here, the outlier is Plod. It's this kind of credit card shape. This isn't exactly a pendant, but it is a clip-on. Same with Rabbit. This goes in your pocket. But Limitless and Friend are very much pendants, right? And it's a pretty good idea. It's a simple design. I kind of like this one because it could also clip onto your collar or on your sleeve if you want it to, or at the bottom of your shirt if you want it to be less noticeable. So that form factor I think is starting to converge a little bit. Last takeaway that I'm seeing, there's a divergence in use case happening, and that is utility, super focused on utility, and then super focused on relationship and forming a bond and social connection. Mark my words, the next wearable that comes out, or maybe one of these that's already out in its future versions, will try to blend focused utility with some sort of social emotional connection baked into the product and the experience. It's an obvious play. If Friend has any success at all, which it's not clear that it will, but if it does, we're going to start seeing this kind of social connection play become much more popular in these AI driven wearables. Thanks so much for listening. If you're new here, my name's Andrew. I've been in tech for about 15, 16 years. I've done engineering, I've done UX design, I've done product management. Very much a tech industry nerd. I like thinking about strategy and design and AI and LLMs. So give me a subscription, drop some comments in the below, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.